In this example, we are going to see a function that returns an array as its return value back to the calling function. But before we do that, I just wanted to leave all of this cruft and junk, it's called crap, here from the previous example, the pass elements Java example, just to show what I would do if I was developing here in Visual Studio Code. And this will be available, the completed product here, rather, will be available over here in Replit when we're done as well. So what I'll do is just right-click over here in the Chapter 7 Demos folder, like I had before. I'm just going to right-click and say New File. This time around, I want to call it return array. .java. Remember, the .java extension is important here because otherwise Visual Studio Code will not use IntelliSense. You'll notice that that did not clear all of this garbage I have down here in my terminal window, Command K on my Mac. If you're on a Windows PC, that would be Control K. So here, remember, if I say class and hit the down arrow, it's going to populate for me my public class return array. And if I say main and hit enter, it's going to populate for me my public static void main. Now here, what I want to do is create a string array, and I'm going to call this names. And actually, I'm just going to leave it alone here. You'll notice I'm not telling Java how many elements there are in names. I'm not doing anything here with names. I'm just going to leave this be for a second. And what we're going to do is we're going to build a public static method. So again, just in case that went too quickly, which I feel like it did. If I just say PUBL for public and pick the third one here, public static method, that's what I'm going to create. Now, void, again, suggests that this is not going to return anything, but we want to change that. I want to return a string, and I want to return a string array. I can't just call this name. I'm going to call it get names, because that's what it's going to do. It's going to get names from here and return them to my main. So here, inside of get names, what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to create a string array, and I'm going to call it names, because it doesn't really matter, because remember, that's going to be local to here, not local to here. So I'm going to call it string names, and that's going to be equal to Bert, Ernie. The way I'm doing this is I just add the comma here, I space it out, I hit shift so I can hit the double quotes. Dr. Teeth, I'm going to do that again, comma, double quotes. No Muppet list is complete without Oscar. So you'll notice that string names, my array here inside of get names, is 1, 2, 3, 4 elements long. And all I'm going to do is return names. So what that's going to do is pass the return value here is going to be passing an argument back, which is going to be a string array. So here I'm going to say names equals the result of get names, like so. So what we're saying is the resultant of the function call to get names is going to be stored in names. Now, to prove that that works, I'm going to use an enhanced for. So I'm going to say names, or actually we need a return value in here. So string val, because val just stands for values. It's a pretty common practice you would see here in the enhanced for, is just to have a string value, integer value, and just call it val. Separate that by the full or the colon, not the semicolon rather. And here we need names. So that's it. This is my enhanced for, is string val. So this is going to hold for us the values that are being read in from names, the string array. Here inside of my for loop, if I aimed properly, here inside of my for loop, all we really need is a sysout. So you'll notice that already populates for me system.out.println. I won't need those double quotes there like I did. All I have to do is output val, because val is the string variable that I'm going to store my names into. So if I hit F5, it's going to compile and run. And here we go. There is my 1, 2, 3, 4 element array that I called getNames to populate with from over here. So I'm going to leave this code here. I'm going to upload this also as part of a replit so that you can see how to return an array from a function. The only difference is, remember, if you had a public static int or a public static double or whatever, that's the kind of return you would expect there. So public static string, I'm saying expect a string value to be returned. But the new wrinkle here is just including the nomenclature we have there for an array lets Java know, oh, I should be expecting an array. And this time, we're able to assign the values from getNames to a string array itself here called names.